Oh. It's the beginning of another weekend. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Folabi Brand. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akasha Zabiri.
I'm dressed
How you doing, Jerry?
I'm dressed like them in your kingdom today. They are laughing 83rd birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to the Alafin
Wow.
from the ladies of your view.
Let me take it. Imperial Majesty Oba Lamidi Olaiwola Adeyemi III. The greeting is from the Mara Desas family, and according to our producer Delapo, I dare not miss this message. So,
we join the Mara Desas
family. Happy birthday, sir.
Okay.
Happy birthday, sir.
How you doing now? Yeah, and very colorful today.
Yeah. In the spirit, amazing. Got feedback from my fellow business people trying to access the CBN intervention for small businesses in getting dollars at the official rate. And I've heard before that there's been compromise within the banking sector, but this person was giving me facts. Before she gets the approval of the money, she has to pay. They used to demand 800, they used to demand 1 million. They said now, they said a lot of people are asking for funds. This is those that qualify legitimately to bring in foreign products into Nigeria that should get access to the funds the CBN has provided are not able to get it unless they bribe. Now, it's we doing ourselves. That's the reason. And like I'm just coming to say that this CBN has already provided the policy. It is huge loss for the country to provide that fund at 413 naira. Can we please not inconvenience businesses even further?
That's what happened. Even the guy that came here, it's about us. So there's a system in place. It puts a framework. But we the people,
he said that the queue is very, very long. That everybody expects there must be a chain all the way. According to the person, was like the Treasury Department, all the way that you don't get that fund unless you bribe. She doesn't even mind bribing. Can they even speed up the process? Because if you don't pay a lot of money, it's slower.
But you transfer the cost if you're going to.
Exactly. Which is please.
American Constitution says we the people.
We the people, let's not suffer ourselves. We the people of Nigeria, can we not suffer ourselves?
How you doing, Maria? I'm looking
fine,
nice and bright. I hope you're going somewhere afterwards.
I'm going nowhere. I'm just going home. It's really colorful, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Sometimes you think like, I'm not so sure, and then everyone says, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like the arms look it's aggressive.
Lovely.
Yeah, thank you. Ada, of course, as usual, you know, she's just our plug. She always does House of Vichy. Yes, she's always doing these amazing designs and makes us look beautiful on a budget.
Yes, that part, I like that part.
Yeah. And she's very efficient.
Yes.
She is
efficient in every area.
Yeah.
I don't understand how efficient this girl is. Makeup, clothing, whatever it is, she's efficient.
And she has a
You call her for
fantastic
makeup,
attitude.
and she's there 5 a.m. in the morning. What do you not just see somebody at the gate and you wonder, auntie, what's the problem?
Like,
Hey,
I'm
she come
here.
early now. She's just so efficient. Very fantastic. Anyways,
how are you doing?
And you?
My own is just the planning.
Well done.
Next week, this time next week, we're done. I can't wait. It's over.
No, this time next week.
This time next week. This time we'll be in church.
Yeah,
this time we'll be in church. It's almost done. So, you see, when Bobrisco said he spent 30 million for party, and we're all scoffing.
For his birthday.
No, I'm just saying,
like
this
it
country,
costs
if
a
you
whole
want to
lot.
do party now, you gotta have 30
But
years.
his own is
Easily.
different from your
Easily. I'm just, the point is that it's just costs a lot of money.
Yeah, everything is expensive. The inflation.
You know, and it's like, me, I even thought we got like 5 a.m. we'll finish everything.
In which continent? In which decade? Like that's like 2 decades ago.
It's just unbelievable. But we thank God, child. Yeah. This way.
Exactly.
Thank you. God bless. That's the word. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay. Thank God Tokwe got her earrings back. Now I have to please now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to start with the punch today. I use emergence as chair. North gets PDP's nod to contest 2023 presidency. Oshibaja urges creativity by states on revenue generation. Ogun motorist hospitalized after checkpoint shooting and cop arrested. Buhari once took part in protests shouldn't disrupt NSAS, says Falano. Military expects more to Kano jets by October 28th, says ban is fleeing northwest. Aregbe's loyalists go for broke to elect Abayomi Exco. 88,704 contract cholera. 3,208 die amid vaccine scarcity. Senior staff caution FG on unvaccinated workers, ban government plans for mass vaccination, and National Assembly proposes December 15th for budget passage threatens MDAs. Okay.
Let's start with a human interest story.
Yes,
so in Ogun State, a policeman has been arrested for shooting a motorist. They said this happened on Wednesday. So this man was driving his car. He was stopped by the policeman, and his car was searched. And without any provocation, one of the policemen just shot him in the leg, just like that. Luckily, there are also eyewitnesses. In fact, there are videos making the rounds that just, people were saying that this man did nothing, and the policeman shot him. The victim has been taken to hospital undergoing treatment, and the Ogun State Command has said that the policeman in question has been arrested, and investigation is going on the reason why he would just, shoot him without any reason to. So
really sad.
Hear from that.
I want to take the military to Kano story. The Chief of the Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, has debunked the notion that the military engagement in the southeast is targeting people, labeling it as false. So many people feel like whatever the military is doing in the southeast is attacking the citizens, Nigerians that live in the southeast. And they say that's not true, that there's been a lot of win in the war against bandits in the northeast, and they are relocating. And so they are fighting the insurgency, they are fighting the people that are causing damage and harm to the safety of citizens within that state, and they are securing the lives of citizens of Southeast. Then he mentioned the fact that somebody they posed the question to him concerning negotiations, that since Shegumi is pushing for negotiations in the Northeast, why are they not considering that same approach in the Southeast? And he said he's not his opinion to decide whether negotiation is right or wrong, that Shegumi is speaking for himself and those that share his beliefs, and that for him, he's doing his military assignment, which is to secure people on ground. And we're expecting more Tucano jets on the 28th of October to help provide more, what do they call them, equipments for the military to boost the war against insurgents across the country.
Go ahead. I was going to take the story on the NSAS. So next week, Wednesday, I think, marks the year anniversary, and there's a planned protest. Ofemi Falana is asking that the presidents who also participated in protests in the past should not stop or disrupt the upcoming protest. That's pretty much what he was saying.
Clara, I want to take the very painful and preventable. According to all the medical experts in this particular article, this is a very preventable. 88,000 plus contacted. Cholera, lost 3,000 plus people, 3,200 and something people. In the space of 276 days. Totally avoidable because, of course, the government on their part is not doing enough. One Professor Tomori, accused government of not doing what he considers one death a disaster, because cholera is very preventable, but then I like
preventable and curable.
Talked about the people, what we could have done to assist ourselves, because Nigerians like to say government, but if it is for cholera, there's a part you play.
Hygiene.
Okay, please let me quickly take this.
Talk about public toilet, providing public
so that's where government will come in.
But then people should not do open defecation.
Exactly.
And marketplaces should be kept clean.
There should be more open toilets.
Assert leadership in certain public places and ensure that.
I want to take the story of the National Assembly proposing that in the Punch, that December 15 we should have our budgets passed. The statement was by the chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation, Aliyu Betara, saying that they are putting pressure on MDAs to come and defend their budget. He said that MDAs, that we frown on agencies of government which say they have only received 75%, we only receive 60%, and so they cannot say they implemented. So that you cannot, they are threatening the MDAs that you cannot, nobody waits until they have 100% appropriation before they implement the rules. That we're trying to get back into a January to December budget cycle, and that the MDAs are, their activities are disrupting it, but that Omagege has said that whatever it will take, before the end of the year, they will pass the new budget.
The Nation. Oshimbajo to governors, don't bank on monthly allocation. We have turned the heat on insurgents. Gunmen says CDS. Why North PDP leaders adopted IU as consensus chair candidate. Navy intercepts 32.9 kg cocaine on vessel.
You don't have to take that.
National Assembly promises budget passage by December 16th. Over 2.5 million Nigerians fully vaccinated. And chemistry professor Adebowale is 13th UIVC. Okay, let's start with the major headline. Who has that story? Or do you want to do the...
I have the major headline. So, speaking at the Ekiti Fountain Summit 2021 in Ado Ekiti to mark the third year anniversary of Governor Kayode Fayemi's administration, the vice president said that states need to get more creative. They shouldn't bank on monthly allocation anymore, that there is no more handout from the federal government as per monthly allocation, and each state should treat themselves as an independent country. I wonder how that will work with the constitution that has concurrent and recurrent. And he also mentioned that they should avoid double taxation, because many people, when you think of getting revenue, the first thing the states will think of is, oh, let's increase taxation. But he's saying avoid double taxation because it will stop other private investors from bringing their funds into the country. I know you said a lot more, but...
Yeah. For those,
okay,
that's the gist of the matter. Yeah. But, of course, I will take the drug smuggling story. So operatives of the Nigerian Navy ship Beecroft, NNS Beecroft, have intercepted a vessel called MV Chayani Nari. It was carrying 32.9 kg of cocaine that had been arranged and put in 30 slabs. If you see the picture, yes, a lot of that. They said, of course, all the staff and crew of the ship were arrested, and 6 Asians were part of those that were arrested. It was coming from Santos in Brazil. This arrest interception was possible because Interpol had alerted us here in Nigeria, the Nigerian Navy here in Nigeria. So in collaboration with NDLEA, Nigerian Ports Authority, they had been following it, Nigerian Customs Service, they have been following it, and they were able to make this arrest. Well done.
Okay, so concerning COVID, the U.S. has donated 3.5 million additional doses of the Pfizer vaccine, making it, I think, 7.5 million so far in Nigeria. Government is still saying that they have enough to cover, especially government workers. According to them, they got over 500,000 from France and quite a number of others. So they are also asking that people should get vaccinated. But more importantly, they're going to name and shame those who are selling cards. So you don't get the jab, but you get the card, the fake cards, because that's what's causing this credibility issues we're having internationally, but they're not accepting or recognizing our vaccination cards. So they're going to be clamping down on those and the naming and shaming those people who are actually selling our vaccination cards to the, I mean,
I don't get it.
We, the people of Nigeria, should not compromise this thing.
The people that have
so
access to these cards.
You know what happened was that initially, government, when they wanted to vaccinate, they're trying to get partners. Okay, we can't do everything by ourselves. So partners come in, help us to get people vaccinated, so get private hospitals, to get you take some vaccinations so you can help, so you can decongest the amount of things that government is doing. But these guys are compromised. Some of them are compromised. So they come into the hospitals.
So now my green card is no longer valid.
So that's, again, we the people.
Because some people have compromised.
We used to be putting that down. We the people. Now us be the problem. We the people. Okay, do we have time for another story, Nima? Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll move on to Vanguard. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Vanguard. We insist on state police, says Governor Fayemi Obaseki Sanwo-Olu and El Rufai. COVID-19 FG to establish mass vaccination sites across the states. Lack of scanners causes congestion at nation sports, says reps. Anambra police to deploy over 34,500 men, special forces and INEC vows readiness. Breach of agreement on your government to revoke contracts of 22 firms. Cement prices defy seasonal trend, rubbishes producers' claims. FG directs all TV stations to use sign language interpreters. And 3 killed, many injured as NURWT RTN clashed in Lagos. Okay.
So NURT clashed on Wednesday night into Thursday morning, but I was lucky because I drove right into it thinking the road was free. Post it, and I didn't know there were gunshots yesterday morning. According to the report in the Vanguard. NURT, that is National Union of Road Transport Workers, clashed with members of the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, and they killed 3 people. They walked straight into their park and killed 3 people just to start the fight over what they consider collection of monies. You know, I've said about what I saw once in a bus in the morning, what they pay in between. A bus before 9 a.m. must pay at least 500 naira to be able to run the Badagry Expressway. So I guess clash of authority, and this is how they usually change authority. But according to their chairperson, he's written to the special advisor to the governor on transport, Fayinka, to notify him of what happened. And I'm hoping that for the benefit of the people who are living in the environment of Amuodofia and that area, there's peace. We should have security there for now.
Okay.
Yeah, so the federal government is going to be directing TV stations to use sign language interpreters. So at the 2021 annual lecture organized by the federal FRCN, the Minister for Information was there, and in response to a lady called Monsurat Abdul Wasiu, she was a former leader of the women's wing of Association of the Deaf. So during this meeting, she was saying that most times, for those of them for people who are, deaf or have one disability or the other, it just seems as if they are not being included when it comes to information like this. It says a lot of them, they are watching the news, they are deaf, they can't hear it. And, she made a very strong point. She said, so what happens to deaf people when they are reading news and when they are sick and go to hospital? Does it mean that we're not entitled to information and health care? The government needs to look into this. And so the minister was, very moved by that and says that they're going to do something about it. And I think it's welcome.
I think that having it written, because in most developed countries, they have it written, scrolling as your everything you say, there's that AI that automatically interprets everything you say. I think that it is easier to implement using technology than having someone do sign language.
Picture of someone at the bottom just interpreting sign language.
Well.
Okay,
I want to take the cement, of course, I'll take the cement story. Who have been following cement prices, and they say the cement prices have defied the usual trend. It has defied normal economics. And the research Vanguard has done is to break down how usually cement price had increased phenomenally last year, but this year, contrary to where it should be around 2,900, and then it should drop a bit around July, August, it has increased to 3,800, which is like 31% increase in the price of cement. The reason for this, I've been trying to understand, is because supply is limited. So it's a case, it's not based on factory price, it's based on because it's unavailable. And they were thinking that there was a price war between a few brands, and they felt that would drive it down. It didn't, it actually took it up. And major distributors are saying that it's not available.
So is it Nigerians again?
I don't think it is just Nigerians. I think we have like the largest deposit of limestone. We have no reason to have scarcity of cement. Of course, we people of Nigerians and have not increased efficiency in distribution, and then the government, the people above the government have not put structure of good roads on grounds to aid movement of these things. But cement is one of the key factors in home ownership and building of houses, and it makes the price of ownership of houses skyrocket. So we should intervene. The government should intervene.
I was going to touch on the major headline quickly, because Governor Obaseki, Governor Sanwo-Olu, Governor Kayode Fayemi, and Governor of El Rufai of Kaduna State have all agreed and reiterated their request on having a state police. According to them, there has to be they said that the centralization and control of the command security is no longer acceptable, that they need centralization in their respective states. And that this was developed, affecting the development of security architecture within their states, and said they are conversing for a multi-layer policing system in the country to protect the citizens and investment that drive development. So you cannot develop if your community is not secure, and it's important that they have more power, more authority. This was at the summit in Ikiti, where the Vice President was saying that the governors need to get more creative. So some states are creative, others aren't. They're just dependent totally on the allocations from the center.
Let me quickly take the story of Let me quickly take the COVID-19 vaccination story. So the federal government, of course, is planning to ramp up vaccination. And in doing that, it's opening a lot of more centers. So they're looking at places like the universities, polytechnic, shopping malls, markets, you know, all over. So far, as of today, we have only 4.7% of the population that have taken at least one dose of the vaccination, and only about 2.3% that are fully vaccinated. So we need to do more. And this seems like a welcome idea. And I think this has also affected like people going back to work, where government has given a December 1st deadline for everyone to make sure that they are fully vaccinated before they can get back to work.
So scanners, sorry. Lack of scanners have caused congestions in the nation's ports, and apparently Nigeria still does, the Nigerian Customs Service still does 100% physical examination of imported items, and that a lot of things can go through. So we should have scanners, but we don't. It slows the process of importation. It increases the time. It reduces inefficiency within the ports, and the motion has now been pushed that we need to improve. We need to get the e-scanners in. The budget already gives 3.2 trillion for debt servicing alone. So thinking of e-custom to take off will be a bit challenging. But I think that to improve efficiency, we'll get more income. So let's put money where we know it will generate.
So this word has come up so much this week, efficiency. And I think it's a reminder that efficiency is one of the major factors to development, because that's why China can bring in goods in this country, because they're more efficient. It's cheaper to bring something in than us developing. So we need to start, how we can get the economics of efficiency. Something that we need to start beginning to talk about.
It starts with the spirit of excellence. More
efficient in every area. Because that's why these guys can come in and just take over. You know? How you know using manual at this area?
You are checking with your hand. How many things can human beings eye see?
Okay, the Nigerian Tribune. PDP chairmanship deals compromise that threw up Aliyu. 13,243 terrorists with families surrender in Northeast. 22 Thai tailors arrested over attempt to smuggle cocaine into Nigeria. ICANN applauds improvement in Kogi's accountability rating ranking index. Special report, Nigeria misses measles eradication date. Because over 10,000 cases in 8 months. 85% of COVID-19 cases in Africa are undetected, says WHO. And AWO, HID, vessels of honor used by God to bless real Remo Diocese, says Bishop Fakmed. Okay.
So the Defense Headquarters has said that we have about over 13,000 terrorists have surrendered to the troops in the Northeast. They include 3,243 males, 3,868 females, and over 6,000 children. Defense Headquarters says recently, in the past 2 weeks, it has laid a very sustained, aggressive posture in the Northeast, and it has yielded them so many good results in the war against insurgency. It says that it has definitely reduced the operational capabilities of the insurgents. They're able to have killed about I missed that. So about 13 terrorists, their informants, logistics, suppliers have been arrested. 29 of them have been neutralized. They said about 51 illegal refineries have been deactivated, all in the space of 2 weeks. So many arms and ammunition recovered. So I think this is where we can say, well done, and keep doing the good work.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Nigeria has missed the 2020 deadline for the eradication of measles because, of course, we could not meet up vaccination, and we've increased that to 2028 as the year that, we'll finally meet up. I love this special report in the Tribune that covers how the vaccines are not well balanced and how measles continue to plague certain areas. They mentioned 3 areas, Oyo, the 3 major states in the southwest as areas where you have continuous infection of measles, and more with children below 5 years, because it's even more dangerous for to have it within that age. I think we know what to do.
I think the two of the problems they said why we have this problem is that funding and also lack of hygiene on the part of Nigerians.
Okay, let me take this. The WHO is insisting that we have COVID. So they're saying that 6 out of every 7 COVID-19 cases are not being detected. According to them, the reports say we have about, 8 million COVID cases in Africa, but they're insisting it's 59 million.
And when people are not dying, so...
No, I agree with them. Okay, continue, finish.
They are using some kind of formula that looks at records of deaths and case fatalities. And they're saying that the only people who want to travel or who actually show symptoms are the ones that are getting tested. That more people are asymptomatic, but they are spreading it.
Does it make sense, Mariah?
No,
It does.
because
most people who go for tests is either you have been found to be in contact with someone and so officially being traced. How many Nigerians are going to just go and be tested?
There's a funny thing. No. Even Nigerians are covering up. Hospitals now, you know, in the past, private hospitals rejected. Now they're treating them. They'll just tell you, you have a respiratory infection.
So they don't tell them?
You have pneumonia, but they are just managing you, and they will not release you within 7 days. I'm telling you for a fact, I've had 3 experiences, and I was setting. I said, what did you get? They said, yeah, the results said that I had pneumonia. I said, you. The other one said, I have viral infection.
No. I assumed that I had COVID before I traveled because I was really having itchy throat and I was coughing. And I went for the test, in like the official accredited place, and it was negative. So sometimes you might have symptoms and we tell ourselves that it is COVID is not. So the person actually has
the person that lost her smell.
I believe that they are
but the one that lost her sense of smell.
So why would they say that yes?
The one that lost her sense of smell was
the elections will be taking place very soon in Anambra State. The IGP of police, Usman Akali Baba, was speaking to all commissioners and above yesterday, and he addressed the fact that they are going to be deploying 34,000 plus policemen to secure the Anambra State elections. I want to just pray for peace. It's going to take place on November 6th. Let all of us, we the people of Nigerians that are living in Anambra State, prepare ourselves adequately.
All right, that's all we can take. We're going to break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us since 2008 worldwide. October 15th every year is regarded as Global Hand Washing Day. The day is set aside to promote hand washing with soap and water as an easy, effective, and affordable way to prevent diseases and save lives. If there's any proven measure that has helped in curbing the spread of COVID-19 pandemic, it's regular hand washing with water and soap. So, I mean, when I get home, the very first thing I do is wash my hands. I mean,
yes, I do that as well with the children. So, you know, some of the soap like Dettol, you would use, of course, wet your hand, put a little water on your hand first, and put the soap, and then wash, thumb, fingers, and everything.
Now, right?
Yes, Dettol, back here. And then also, my daughter taught me this one. You sing happy birthday once. So that's how long it should take you to wash your hands there. We do that.
You know, I realized that those school programs they do, that, you know, like that also, those sponsored school programs, it actually makes a lot of, because I didn't know how to wash the way they teach them to wash their hands. Until I went to the school and I saw all the kids. They were washing, they were washing, they were washing. I'm like 4 kids, they were all doing the same thing. Then they were washing, and then they were washing. I'm like, hey, is that... like, what are we washing? Are we washing our skin away? So after that, you know, I just kind of like noticed that everybody complied with that style of washing because you need to thoroughly get rid of. Then I read a research a few months back. And he spoke about how, no, it wasn't a research. There's a series on Netflix, the documentary series. And I've fallen in love with watching documentary series on Netflix. And it was talking about how soap was discovered, hand washing was discovered to prevent a lot of spread of diseases. And that many countries in the world then, everybody used to just assume that if somebody has a sickness, it becomes everybody's own. But someone discovered that by just washing your hand, you reduce the spread of sickness by 90%. Then, and now even much more, because we now have antiseptic soaps, we have different types of that, antibacterial soaps, then just ordinary soap. The importance of hygiene cannot be overemphasized because there are living organisms on our skin back to back, and we touch, and we can be spreading things we don't want to. So washing our hands prevent that from happening. So yes,
the hand remain the quickest means to get to the openings of the body. So
your eyes
everywhere, touch and all of that. I remember when Ebola broke in 2014, my daughter was about a year plus, and I was thinking, I got paranoid, I was thinking how, I forgot that the most effective means I had already taught her, which is to wash her hands. So I put another sanitizer in her bag, and only to see how I make a cream, body cream of it. So if you have a child, and the most effective means, the easiest thing to teach that child is, of course, to ensure that they do hand wash all the time. So there's a soap every time in the hand wash in the house. I love that when I come back, they've either chopped it or used it flat. So that I just check that as, okay, no, that's why we're not falling sick now.
So also, washing hands can reduce the risk of diarrhea, pneumonia, which can cause serious illnesses, measles, and death. Cholera that we were talking about recently. Hand washing with soap helps prevent the spread of other infections and viruses, including influenza and COVID-19. So COVID-19 is the biggest topic today.
Just permit me to quickly add that when your child is teething, it's not necessarily the reason for the purging. I live in a communal, very local place, and I see mothers do these things a lot. So you're carrying your child, you're ready to feed the child, you just go on with the activity as if washing of your hands is not important. I remember when I was breastfeeding and I used to go wash my hands before I would breastfeed my child. But that was the way that, you know, I ensured that that child did not teeth, and then we are in the hospital every day. I never missed a day of work because my son was teething. I made sure that whoever was with him or I washed our hands before we carried the child. It's the least you can do to prevent infections.
So before, that's all used to just be antiseptic, but now they have soaps, so you can actually wash, and you know that those soaps can actually ensure proper cleanliness of your hands.
100%.
Okay, so wash your hands. I think that's the message today. COVID-19 is out there. People are dying. Please let us reduce the spread. Wash your hands often and ensure that you use an antiseptic soap such as
I think everybody watching should just have that conversation today. Have that conversation because today is hand washing day.
Hand washing day. Wash your hands today.
Yes.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll talk about hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, our hot topic today. An actor said something on social media that caught our attention. So, Kenneth Okonkwo said that a man does not need to date a woman for too long to know if she's marriageable or not. I don't even know what marriageable means. I mean, we need to even debate what marriageable means. Anyways, he said that men almost certainly know what they want from a woman the moment they approach her. So the question is, why do we have couples dating for a long time just to get to know themselves better? Is it a fallacy that you need to date somebody for so long before you determine if the person is compatible with you? That's the conversation today. What are your thoughts on this? It's our Feel Good Friday, so it's just something to...
Light, right?
Something, light Friday, something to talk about and think about. We talked about people padlocking each other. You know, a man padlocks a wife, a woman padlocks a girl, a man. So when they have options outside, but they'll padlock you, they don't let you go. You know, but he's saying that, listen, the decision to marry or to settle down with somebody is almost instantaneous. You know as a person, and he's talking from a man's perspective. We're discussing it from our own perspective. Do you agree with him? Does a man really know when it's time, or he still needs to date just at least for that period? Mariam?
Okay, so I believe a man knows almost immediately if this is a partner he would like to, you know, be with for a long time and have children with. But I also believe that there are so many reasons why sometimes the dating process takes so long. One could be the age of the people involved. If they're really young and they're in school and they're pursuing other things, they're pursuing careers, they're trying to set themselves up, it is not now because the person is just only trying to understand if you're marriageable, but, you know, we're working towards something so that by the time we start our marriage, we're comfortable. So those are the reasons why sometimes it takes longer than usual. That's why some people will say to women, just date a man that is ready that is ready to settle down. Don't go and marry. Don't go and be dating small boys that are still in school or boys that are still trying to figure himself out. And then, you know, with someone who is already there, sort of settled, you know that it will not take too long before he starts talking to you about marriage. Although some people will say, how long is too long? Some people will tell you 3 years is fine. Some people will say that is too long. Some people will say 1 year is just okay. Some will say it's too long. For me, I think that a woman, if she's at that age 30, a year, 2-year relationship is enough for her to also know if she wants to be with that person. And of course, this dating has to be dating in such a way that you know the person. So we're not talking long-distance dating. Because long-distance dating, too, also, you don't get to know this person a lot. Remember, we talk about anger issues. You need to see how that person responds to some things. You need to see how he treats other women apart from you, the women in his life, how he treats staff, you know, those, and to be able to, you know, detect red flags. Right. So it's important to give some time for dating.
Let me come to somebody else. Your initial thoughts on this. Nima?
I think most men know immediately. Most men know immediately this is the kind of person I can stay with. Like Mariam said, many people want to now find their footing financially or prepare for the marriage adequately. But there are men that don't know. As I said, there are men that don't know. There are men that meet a lady and they really are trying to gauge the person's, understand the person a bit more. I'm someone that believes in chemistry. I believe that you connect, some people you just connect with them, and when you connect, you know that, okay, this is the kind of person I can marry. But you can meet such a person and the person does not connect with you. So the feeling is one-sided, and all of that happens. What Kenneth is saying, Okonkwo is saying is that you don't need years to know. You don't need to date someone for so long to realize that this person has anger management issues. You don't need to date someone for so long to know this person is stingy. You don't need to, you don't need that long term. You just need to. And I'm against the idea of you dating when you're not ready to marry. Like, what are we? Have friends. I'm only going to start having a relationship when I know I want to get married, because at the end of the day, we're just wasting each other's time. We are not committed. I'm your friend. We are all friends. If I want to get married, I am going into a relationship, because many people just sample different people across many years of their lives until they're ready to now marry. Then they now pick a girl.
They're wrong in sampling.
Everything is wrong with sampling. Everything is wrong with sampling. So for me, when I want to marry, like I've already calculated that I've rented my house, maybe I have my milestones I want to achieve.
You're talking as a man now.
Yes. As a man, I've achieved my milestones. Then I seek a woman to marry.
Is that time that you won't find?
No, not really.
Usually, a lot of men, when they now finally have it, they are now asking people, please, I'm looking for wife. Introduce me.
Because you told them not to sample. You told them not to practice before the time. Of course, you practice.
So let's just sample well. Let's
sampling means you go on a date.
Yes, friends.
I've reached my milestones, like Tokwe said. I look within my friends. Okay. Do I need to date you to know what you
Let's
do,
define dating. What's dating?
Now?
Yes.
Do I need to give you 11 years, 9 years relationship to know what you will do and what you won't do? Amongst you, in your circle, you must have seen a woman that you liked. I met someone who said, I've known you for 6 years and I've always wanted to marry you. But at that time, that wasn't his target and that wasn't mine as well. So thank God that conversation did not happen, because by the time it happened, I was already engaged. But thank God, because imagine, I will be dating for 6 years. I know myself. The relationship will not last more than 2 years.
I dated people. I mean, I had a great time.
6 years?
Yeah, no. Now doesn't last 3-4 months maximum, because I'm dating. We go to the movies. We go. Yes, that's what we have to define. We watch a movie together. We go to dinner. We hang out. We meet at places. Just do stuff together. And I see him. No, we date as if we're an item. My friends are like, wait, that's Morales, we're dating, we're going together.
I don't like that.
So you're saying there should be no boyfriend, girlfriend until you're about to marry. So everybody in university, don't do, because you want to wait till you have finished university, get a job, then you can now start having relationships with people, dating them, going out for drinks, hanging out, getting to meet each other's families, getting to socialize together and widen your network.
Why do I need to? Yeah, I have friends. I have friends till now. One of my engineers that is working with me right now, I met him when I was in school. He was studying engineering then. He came to my house. He met my parents. He was my friend. We used to pray together. He was in MFM. We were not dating. He was my friend. I had nothing in my mind that I was going to marry him. Apparently, he harbored thoughts that maybe when he's ready, he would want to marry.
Of course.
But there was no conversation. He was my friend.
Not, okay, now.
So you know what I'm saying is, and as I had him as a friend, I had several other friends
like that
there was nothing. Male, female, God created them. Male, female, made
so
friends. But there was no relationship. Did we watch movies together? We watched. Did we go out? Did he come to my store?
So your husband was the only person you dated?
So no. What I dated before my husband. But everybody that I dated though, I knew I could marry
that person.
So it did not work out in marriage. Did not mean that there was a clear conversation of I'm ready to get married.
Can I just ask Tokwe one more question, please? So you meet this person, and before you date that person, you already figure out this is someone I can marry to date.
He's my
so
friend.
how do you get to know the person
what
you
I'm saying
can
is
marry?
have a collection of friends. Be a friendly person. You cannot marry if you're not friendly.
Yes.
Do you understand? So when you have friendships around you, even if you don't marry amongst your friends that know you, the kind of girl Tokwe is, you have married, they will market you to their own circle as well.
So there's everyone you dated before your husband were all friends. They were all friendships. They were no dating. It was not a dating thing.
I said I dated for my husband. I had relationship before my husband.
All right. Tokwe is not on the spot.
No, but I'm saying I defined it. Before any of those relationships, we were friends, and I knew. Even my husband was my friend, registered my business. We went out together. We were not dating. I was in another relationship, and I found it was a better prospect. And then we moved.
You're right.
You can move. So there's a list that you have. Okay, that I had. Tick, 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 tick.
Yes.
Qualify. Then you can approach the bench like that.
Yes.
If you don't qualify, no matter how marketable you are, you don't even get the address to the house. Talk less of. We don't cross certain things. We remain that friendship. And I had male friends, close, very, as in we became brothers and sisters. I can still share with their spoon when they are eating, take the spoon and eat even in front of their wives. That's how close we were, but they were not marriage.
Okay, so
friends.
But
if marriage was going to happen, those people don't need to tell me you have not crossed milestones before you marry. Because now what is trending is that a man is dating a girl, then there's a standard that she must now meet with family. You have to come and see my family. You come there, they even give you target of pregnancy now. You know those things that were outrageous. Is your mother's family, is your wife's the girl's family who usually would give a man that, okay, can you take care of this girl? Are you temperament? The mom will be watching. That is no longer that now. It's the old family now.
I don't know how you guys meet these people. I mean, let me give you an example. I met a guy, maybe you go to somebody's party. You meet a guy, he takes your number, you know, and you see him, you don't know nothing about him, and then he calls you afterwards and says he likes you, and you guys start talking, and then you realize that you're talking for long hours on the phone, and after that, you decide to meet for a date. You go for 1 date, 2 dates, and then both of you then agree, okay, we're in this together, and you become an item. And his friends know you, you go for parties together, you come to your house, you hang out. This is what I'm saying, you become an item, so I don't see other girls with him, so he's now me, he comes to me, he picks me up.
But at that time when you become an item, do you feel that it's someone you can marry?
I'm not thinking marriage at that time. But we're still together. So we're an item as a day. Okay, you are not dating any other girl. I'm not with any other man. It's both of us. We go out together. We do stuff together. We for family functions, we go together. My mom knows you. You know, yes, now.
You
are not an item unless I am sure I can marry you. You are not an item unless I'm sure I can marry you.
I am still discovering you at that time. We're still talking. I'm still getting to know you.
So we're talking we're talking of young people. They are adult enough to date, but maybe not ready.
I'm already in my 20s.
I was young. They are adult enough to date, but not old enough or settled enough or have reached the milestone that they need to be married. So, but they are dating, they are getting to know each other. And sometimes it's not even really of, I like you. You have friends and then it evolves into something else. And then they become an item. I mean, I feel that that's just the natural way it goes, except for people like Nima. Nima's own, the way she's described it to us is that you come and ask for her hand in marriage the way it's done in her own home. Because not all Muslims actually do it the way that you do as well. So they come and ask for your hand in marriage and you're sort of vetted, right, in your home or
and by you, and then you decide. It is in the marriage that you start getting to know the person. You have no time to date. But generally, normally, people are young, they meet each other.
My own thing that was a bit different, because I mean, the only part I know that mine was different is that I changed them quite a bit. My mother had to come and see one power by you. This one, every within a year, you have seen before what's going on. This is how you do. So I now said, okay, that's when I started considering your own side of, okay, let me not go out now until I am sure. But there were times that I was having a great time, and I was just dating different guys.
Mariah, here is the way I see it. The perspective I had was, I'm a fine young girl. Everybody wants to be my friend. I'm in the market, so everybody is my friend. I did not let anybody lock me until I knew that, and we didn't have any intimacy. So we're just friends. Oh, my friend just called me. I introduced my husband, current husband, to my former boyfriend because he's my friend. I always meet friends everywhere. So when my current husband met me, I had a relationship, and the person was someone that prospect of marriage, you know. So then I met my husband, and I felt, oh, this other guy that had prospect of marriage would not let me fly the way I wanted to. And I knew my husband was really, really supportive. So I broke up the other one and migrated to the new one. But that other one was on heading for marriage. This new one was just friendship. So there are many friends. I can now...
So that's one model. That's one model. That one model worked for me. Your model worked for you.
And then for me, I always say that you're single until you're married. That's how I see it. So I don't understand this locking that people do anyways. Because for me, if you're my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend, it means I have the right to move on to another relationship when I feel...
It's because you are
maybe you don't understand what I said. Maybe you don't understand what I said. Let me say it again. If I'm in a relationship, if I'm a boyfriend and a girlfriend, I can move on from that relationship to the next relationship if it's over. So there's no locking up. You have not put a ring on my finger. I'm not married to you. You're not going to determine that I must stay in that boyfriend-girlfriend relationship for as long as you want it. I can move. The only place where I know people have to discuss the separation is in marriage. Are we talking about divorce? Are we talking about separation? Not in boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. You know what? I've been looking at you and I don't really like your hairstyle. I'm moving on because I'm quite young and I'm enjoying myself.
See, that's the ideal. That you just explained. If you're in a relationship, according to one of our big bros, it is for breaking up. So you don't like anything, you move on. But in the Southwest,
young people do.
Wait. Once you're in a relationship, you go to what Morale mentioned, you become an item. In fact, the mistake is, as soon as you can visit families, they no longer call girlfriends. So in the Yoruba language, you two, once you allow it, you've stamped yourself. You can no longer be seen while you're dating that person to be freely moving to a lunch date with another person. Somebody will now snap, you see your lekpa, I see your lekpa somewhere. See, these are conversations that I remember, and I know the names and people that it happened to. So when I had the opportunity, I dated. While in school, I had people tell me, I was okay, we're dating. It became long distance, so you don't visit me until I hear you. You can call me, you can see me somewhere and say hello. Me and you know we have already toasted ourselves. But there's no relationship because I don't want to be an item with anybody.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, let me go on a break.
You know,
I'm going to break. I thought this thing was
confused.
So we'll talk about 4 different models right now. Let's go on a break. We are confused, but we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, as you know, it's our Feel Good Light Friday. We're just having a nice conversation here. Fun. And these different models of dating and meeting people and deciding which to marry. My question, Tokwe, is, all these your retinue of friends that are just not serious, you guys never really got up close and personal to anyone of them?
No, they were, honestly, we were just friends. Like I have people that were my friends from church. Right. And I knew that when they are ready, they were not ready. And me, I've been ready for marriage since I was 21. I knew I wanted to get married early. So I wasn't dating you for you to now say I'm your girlfriend. I didn't want to be anybody's trophy girlfriend. I wanted to only date somebody that was going to be getting married to me in the next, like we can see the future. And I did not. I needed to just have. I'm sapiosexual, so I needed to have like. You have to be cerebral, and then you can have a conversation with me. And once you're able to connect with me in terms of conversation, we are friends. The people I dated, there was a clear conversation that we were going to get married. So by the time I, at every point in time, felt that things were either moving at a slow pace or I noticed something I did not like in their character, I moved on. So my first relationship was my parents that my mommy prayed the relationship out of my life. She saw ahead that things were not going to work there. So, and I just disliked the person suddenly. But I had lots of friends. In the case of my husband, even as love was blinding me, 2.5 years down the line, but bros, when is the date? If we don't have a date, I'm not doing no. So at that point, I was entering a new year, and I broke up with him that I am going into this year as a single babe, disconnecting the item that we wear. Okay. Because we were just being, we were taking it for too long.
I like that model, because if a young person is watching us today, see yourself as a trophy, right? A prized possession. So you can date different, you can have different men in your lives, and nobody's seen as the one person until you are sure who actually is the right person, and then that you can get serious with that person. So I think I like that idea.
No, why you're dating plenty people having sex on.
We said that she already asked.
Sex
no
for
sex.
Worship. So
she already mentioned that.
How about kissing?
But
do you see, so those friends, if you get to the point of kissing and hugging, were friends allowed kissing and hugging?
No. Wow, friends, you're not. If you're kissing and hugging, you have entered relationship now.
Okay, right. You
people are not friends if you have crossed that line.
because you become an item, and you see, let me just say that what you were saying, that you become an item. I did not want plenty of people to be my item, because as a young girl, I saw them counting for others, and in our culture, they count. I lived in mile 2. I knew those aunties that they would say, Uncle Tomangbe Jeepwa. Uncle that brings this other car. So I was trying to keep the count.
I didn't have that, because nobody. I was fairly new in the country at the time, so nobody was counting for me. So I was very, very.
But even mommy was counting for you.
Mommy was counting for me. That's why she had to come and see Joko what's going on. I mean, every 3 months I was breaking up.
To you. So, but did they count it to them?
No. We were counting from the window.
You were counting from the window.
We were counting from the window.
What determines the count? Is it the fact that the person comes to visit you? Is it the fact that the person...
Yes, now.
Yeah, so it does not matter if it was really a relationship.
No.
As long as the person comes to visit you. And the people in your and the people in your neighborhood, seeing person come to visit you, they do not understand the depth of that relationship, or what exactly is going on in that relationship.
No. We just
drop you off or pick you up.
We used to see them inside the car. We see them in the car. There's necking in the car.
This is it. So I had male friends growing up, and we gelled. I was very tomboyish. And I had someone tell my mom, they don't reach 9. What thing they happen? This speaking don't begin, they follow man, they don't reach 9. So my mom was like, we had the conversation. I said, all of them are my friends. I swear to God, I called all of them. Oh yeah, people should come. And they used to come to my house too, and that's why that person knew. So they sat down, who is my husband inside there? He said, who will marry you? Go kill us now. And the conversation, and my mother trusted me. So that person does not know. But this is how the person will ask. So if you are with the real one, well done, Niwa, Alpha. Now the other person be that, I'll be like, the one you're hiding. Like, no, ma, I'm coming, ma. They know. So they count. They know when you are serious. They know. They start to count.
Let me tell you my own version of counting. Because my own version of the way they count is, like I told you, where I grew up is like a mini barracks. So what we were doing was, from the window, we see the one that when you see off to the car, people are in the car for a very, very long time. And there are those that in the corner, they'll be holding each other, and they're small hugging. All those ones are happening. So we are counting those ones. So there's the one that is just, they stroll, go and come back. There's nothing. But when we start seeing that, all those activities,
the one that can help you late night.
Yes, and the one that they will stay in the car, they can already park inside that car, then they will not stay in that car for a long time, and their head is joining, their head is going apart. They count those ones.
You are actually the counter. Let me come to. Hello, good morning. Are you there? Oh gosh. Hello, good morning. Oh my God. Hello, you're live. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Damilola, go ahead, please. You're live.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying your program.
Thank you, sir.
Nice one.
Thank you.
I want to speak on the issue you guys have been discussing.
Yes, please.
I think it's necessary for a lady and a guy she's dating to at least court for a minimum of 2 years. Because nowadays, you don't just jump into a relationship. The guy needs to know the lady he wants to settle with. And compatibility is also very important. There are certain things that the girl cannot accept in which it goes down well with the man. So we both have to agree on something. Not something you just come by in 6 months, 1 year. It's good nowadays because some guys can pretend from now till and
Thank you, Damilola. Yes, Mariam, what's on?
Yes. What exactly is the item of courtship? What will you be doing?
Yeah.
Is it exam or is it just what exactly will be happening in that relationship? For
That's what I'm saying. So I don't like those long because at some point there will be a lot of kissing and smooshing and then the bed. And we don't want that. That's not what we want. We want something straight, direct. We know that this one is the person. Oh, no. Take it serious and we move on. There was a guy that I dated. I think I gave you that gist. The moment he came like this, my mom's sister, God rest her soul. Oh my goodness, she couldn't stand this guy. She prayed him out of my life. My mom was there thinking, nice guy, nice guy. My mother was there. Anytime he comes, my other sister will be this one. So one day we're entering the bus together, and we're going to church. So we have the coastal bus that takes us. He now came in. She saw him, and she was so angry that, why are you coming with us? We did not invite you. You know, she really confronted him.
What did she notice about him?
She doesn't like the guy. There was just something about the guy that... Anyway, finally, it was the guy I told you that almost tried to lock me. So I went to his house. And I noticed he went to lock the door. So I didn't really understand why he locked the door, and he now sat down, and now said, I want to come, hey, as a father in heaven. And I met this guy in church, the church brother, somebody.
Wow,
I ran with every... And I was so happy that I got away that day. And when I told my mom's sister, she said, from the moment she saw that guy, she was cannot work. So his people were totally off. Yeah. So there are times like that where, but for me, it was an item already. Then I said an item. I went to his church together. We went to his church. He came to my own church also. We went out together. We went to parties together. We became an item. He will follow me to fellowship.
So, you know, sometimes where a lady is of a certain age and when she's talking of not having a partner or someone that she'll marry, and people will say, is this a recent thing that men don't come to you? When you were growing up, did men like you? Did you have boyfriends? You know, you're growing up too, your family would ask you, so who's your boyfriend? So they expect that you're dating.
Yeah.
You know, because a young girl
should be dating.
You're maturing. That's what is happening to you now. You're maturing physically, emotionally, mentally towards being with somebody. So there's a process, and that process involves dating. So if it happens that you're not dating at all, sometimes they'll call you aside. I'm like, yeah, is everything okay? is everything all right? So you're meant to date. So that's how I understand it. Now, concerning these 2 years or 3 years of dating, I too do not agree with this very long, drawn-out dating, because I've seen people, in fact, I know more than 3 people who dated for almost like 9 years, and within 1 year of the marriage, it was over. Because really, in that time, what are you trying to figure out? And so it's important that in the 2 years, you understand I think why people stay in those long, drawn-out relationships is that they feel that they can figure some things out, they can change some things that they have seen. Oh, okay. Or they know that the person doesn't want to marry them, but they found a way to convince the person to change the person's mind.
Okay, but this turquoise system can go both ways also, because if you're having this retinue of friends and you're not taking them serious, you might actually lose them all.
Yes.
Because somebody will go and date them because you're not giving them a green light. Or you're not getting them. They just say you'll find somebody else on the move. You're not be there losing them. Answer that question. Let me take Taiwo. Taiwo, are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry for keeping you, Taiwo. So we can work both ways.
So let me put it this way. You're meant to date, but I would merely you come to me, and some of them is a direct asking out. You're looking for me. Can I have your number? I'm like, okay, come to my house fellowship. So I bring you in to the fellowship. My fellowship is in my house. So you come to the house, you join many of my fellowship members were boyfriends want to be, and I knew they were boyfriends want to be. So I brought them into church. We converted them into born-again Christians. We're all playing together, and I made them understand that I will not it was very, very clear. I'm not dating unless it's someone I can marry. So I tell them, I'm going to get to know you. If I feel that you are someone I can marry, then we would enter into the relationship. But for me now, they're just my friend, and I have a lot of friends. So I made that clear, and I had a conversation with like 2, 3 people that we never dated, but I knew they had intentions. But I made them understand that. So that's not dragging them along. That's not question. That's like, I'm getting to know you, but I'm not getting to know you as far I'm committed to you. I'm getting to know you while I'm knowing how you react to something. There's someone I met, and I've said it on the show before, that the guy held my hand so tightly, and I was trying to like, I'm going, and I felt the way you hold me so, the day you won't slap me, that's so you go slap me, and I just did not.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we wrap up on this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing this dating game and how best to date, when to date, how long to date, and how do you even know when to take it to the next level. We have Peace on the phone. Good morning, Peace. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think there's no time frame to him, because no matter how long you stay with somebody, after marriage, you still discover new things.
Exactly.
That you don't know. I so much believe if you're mature to marry, you have to be ready to take anything that comes. That's maturity. And you see all this issue of divorce, and all those people are not mature enough to handle marriage. Because when you are ready, as a mature person, whether a lady or a male or a guy, you should be ready to take everything. I think that's my contribution.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Peace.
Thank you for the last one.
Yes, Nima.
That's my definition. So while I wasn't dating, I used to tell myself, these are breaking points for me, what they call them. And if this doesn't happen, or if I ever witness this in the marriage, I get a divorce. It's an option that I'd always made open. And people used to find it ridiculous. If I don't date you and I'm getting to know you while I'm married to you, you cannot come and bring what I cannot bear. And say, because marriage must work. There are certain things that when you know this one, like all the ones that we took some stories back, that we are discovering now is becoming not popular. You leave the marriage. You don't run yourself into insanity trying to cope with things that you can't deal with. And it's okay. Till people get to understand, you let them judge. When they finally do, they will understand. There's also the part that the writer, Kenneth Okonkwo, was talking about. I think he was addressing girls who had men give them standards. Men who will say, I for marry you, but you know they need down, reach down. I for marry you, but the other girl washes for me. I for marry you, but you know Sabi cook. You never hear ridiculous things. I for marry you, but I was sick the other day and you didn't show up. You know, you don't have a life when you're dating somebody. If the person will marry you, he will know he will marry you. You don't have to prove anything. And
see,
this
is true.
That
goes both ways.
is from a man to women. I hope the women don't forget the message. Because when you now start to hear, you see, your job makes you do shifts. I don't want a woman that's not available for my family. What thing they toast me for? Why are you wasting time? Don't disturb me. Or someone will say, you know, maybe you should add some weight. You're too thin.
Yeah, there are people.
Please, I shouldn't have attracted you in the first place.
Yeah.
There's another worse one that I cannot understand to people like me. Your hijab is just too long.
Like, why are you
could
here?
make it a scarf. I say, I force
All right,
you.
let me take this call. I'll come to you. Good morning. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I would like to contribute.
Yes, please.
And this question, like a man she's not supposed to date for a long time. It could be vice versa too.
Yes.
So I will take myself as an example. Before I got married, I was dating someone for 5 years. And there were lots of red flags that I saw. So I left. And the reason why I left was because the guy started dating me. There were some questions I asked him concerning his previous relationship. And I saw that he was doing what he was doing to me, to those ladies. And I ended it. I didn't look back. And now I am happily married. Secondly, another of my friends, she dated this guy for 12 years. I remember when we were in secondary school, that was when they started dating. And if I tell you that, okay, as an early this year, she called me and she was crying, so many things the guy was doing to her. And I'm like, these are red flags. Why are you still holding back? Well, long story short, this girl committed suicide. Okay, the guy actually impregnated somebody else, did introduction with the person, and she heard outside. So the thing really affected her. She was depressed. We all ran helter-skelter, but she committed suicide. So we, both men and women, we need to know when you are seeing red flags. I used to tell myself something. No matter how much a man will like me, they won't love me more than my parents. It will never happen. They cannot love me the way my parents would love me. So we all need to be very careful. Life goes on. Now, the man, I'm sure the girl would have given birth, she would have come.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Yemi. Yes,
I think there's an attitude that I see mostly in younger girls, where they think that so this marriage is about being chosen. He has chosen me. He has picked me. You know, this kind of game where they sit and then the person will choose different people in the game. So they choose me. So you're happy. And now that they have chosen you, now you're on this side. You don't want to leave no matter what you see there. So you've forgotten that you too can do a choosing. You can decide to choose that person as well and decide to choose to stay or choose to leave. You know, there's this... and it goes into, you know, when we grow older as well, where people are asked to stay in marriages or relationships, even when everyone can see how physically and mentally and emotionally you're being almost tortured by someone that claims to love you. So we need to tell younger girls, when you're going to the relationship, you choose each other. Yeah. You also determine how long you want the relationship to go. So you can have that conversation. You know what? I'll be done with university in 2 years, and I'm looking to see if I would like to be married in the 3rd year. Is that a plan that you have? He may not have a definite plan, but he will tell you his plans. So, oh, I prepare, immediately after university, I'm traveling for my master's, and after my master's, I'm traveling for my PhD. Then you know that maybe your paths are not going to, you know, meet at any point. So you can then choose to stay out of that relationship and then follow the one that will bring you happiness. You don't have to stick in a relationship just because you have been chosen the first time around.
Okay, and fantastic point. I like that. Let's take Temitope. Are you there?
I am.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Concerning the topic, I think what I'm just going to add is that there's no manual to relationship, honestly. There's no manual because for a person, I dated someone for like years and it was so perfect for me. To me, I feel like, yes, this is the person. After like some months, I feel like, yes, it was not working anymore because he's a Muslim, I'm also a Christian, but I was willing to do a lot of things for him. But his family were giving me issues already in the relationship. All of a sudden, I met this one person, and I'm married now. I met my husband, and we dated for like during the process of dating. So we have conversations like, conversation, you know that yes, this is it for me. Because you have conversations that have your best at heart. Conversation like, let's go and eat. No, conversation like when I talk about my business, even when I'm less concerned about it. You see him talking about, oh, what about your business? What about this? Have you done this? Have you done that? I'm like, oh, can I still remember? It's like, yes, I have it in mind. Have you done, what are your plans?
Thank you very much, Tokwe. You know, I mean, I always tell people that I think I had a bit of fun. I mean, right now, I'm an adult and I'm content. I'm not looking for anything outside because a lot of the fun, everybody's, how people are defining fun. I've lived a bit of life. So I feel I would like to encourage people to enjoy your young years. Date, have fun, explore. Because that's what I did.
No, I mean, you did not explore sexually. You don't go and say it and they'll think it's...
I didn't explore sexually.
She should define it.
No, of course not. But I had different kinds of people in my life and I had fun. So I think also a lot of people always like, there's something I missed out. I mean, I've never for a second feel that I missed out on anything. There's nothing you want to use to bamboozle me. I'm done. I've been there, done that. I've moved on. Okay,
so you don't need to be there. Perspective, Mariah's perspective, take wisdom where you see wisdom. There's no rule to relationship, but wisdom is universal, you know. Let me first address what Mariam said, which is very, very important. You are not, nobody is choosing anybody. This sacrifice that women make because they want to be married, you would spend your money, you would spend your time, you would serve because you want to be Mrs. It's not worth the sacrifice. yes, marriage is beautiful, but it is not worth the sacrifice if it is not a mutual relationship. It must be mutual service, mutual love, mutual sacrifice on both sides. Enough of this servitude that is sold to us in terms of this is what marriage is, number one. Number two, you don't need to experience and explore. You know, I did not experience and explore. But when I saw my husband, I knew my husband was we were going to groove all the groove together. We are still grooving it till forever and ever in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. It was the groove. I knew it would take me out. I did not go clubbing as a single girl. You know, I always tell my husband that my first taste of alcohol was from him. You know, so I did not do all those things. It looked attractive when I saw single girls doing it, but I was preserving myself to do all this groove inside marriage. But now, I wear bomb shots now. If anybody says anything, it's not your business. I did not play as a single girl.
I am married to a man who doesn't like me going out to eat. So I thank Lord Almighty that there was no restaurant in Lagos or anywhere else. So today, I'm married to somebody that he feels that 30,000 wants to go and use in the house. So I'm not missing going to restaurant because I've been there,
that's why I said that there's no relationship is not universal. So I knew who Mr. Mark was. And I knew we were going to groove the groove before we got married. You know, so yes, I knew his nature. I knew that he would not have any issue with me wearing my off-shoulder or me wearing my tube dress. Because I knew who he was. Yeah. I knew that I could do all the things I could not do before marriage with him. Right. My parents would not allow me wear half of what I wear right now as a single girl. Yeah. They wouldn't allow it. But I married
different
strokes. No, as you said,
because the things that they did not allow you to do as a single girl, just look for the person that will give you freedom to fly.
Nima, before I got married, I used to travel every year. You can't tell my husband that, okay, this money we've gathered now, you want to go and looking for what reason? Because there are things to do, there are bills to pay. So he's totally like, well, travel is not our priority. He would not allow them. But before I got married, I was traveling.
Morayo, this is what I wanted to say to when that caller called about the girl that...
yes.
There are certain things that we put into relationships that are meant for marriage.
Say it again, I missed it.
Again.
Too many things, too many emotions, attributes, behaviors, investments in ourselves that are meant for marriage, that we put into relationship. Yep. What do you have to prove to somebody that is asking I want to marry you? You honor me by approaching my family honorable. You don't give my family the impression to ask, you do all the training we give you. See the way you are just speaking, you know? And when the person comes to your family and it changes, because people change, people pretend forever. Madam, open the door forever to a divorce. Plan. As a young girl, I had plans for if I would divorce, if there were children involved, what would do, why I would push my career, why I must have a career. I'm a woman that loves to be pampered. The only reason I'm pushing to have a career is if life happens.
Okay.
So don't say because you don't want life to happen, you give somebody 9 years. The person can still...
No, but that
let nobody make you...
is a strong
Let
one.
nobody make you house girl for his wife in future. You would have done all that you need to do for your husband.
Don't give in a marriage what is meant for. I mean, don't give in a relationship what is meant for marriage.
Yinka, I think we lost Yinka. I do apologize.
That was huge.
Yes. So I hear everyone. I hear the wearing bomb shorts and the traveling and everything. And that's good. It's good to marry people of like minds. That's important. But beyond
you don't get a like mind.
No.
Life will happen to you.
Well, you will.
Marriages aren't always perfect.
You will meet people that you have common... You should meet someone that you have common interests.
Oh, certainly.
So that's basic foundation. But above all, please, look for kind people. Look for people who are considerate. Look for people who are respectful. Because many times we may have all these wants and, these wants, these things, they come and go. But if it is based on the foundation of, I understand you, let me hear you out, and then we can have a conversation from there. You need to talk to someone who is a bit open-minded, who can have a conversation with you and is willing to see your side. That's the sort of person you should go into a marriage with, because when whatever now comes to you within that marriage, it is based on that sort of character that you would solve everything. This is a person that first is looking out for my interest. This is a kind person, so he's not doing anything that will hurt me. This is someone that is open to conversation and willing to see my side. So whatever happens concerning the bomb shots and the traveling, we discuss it within that,
God will bless you.
Like, so for me, I have become that, okay, we are not going to dinner.
No problem. Shock you.
I've accepted that, okay,
this is our life. Not taking you once in a while.
Yeah, but you see, life would happen to you, and you just accept whatever life throws at you. Let me take this call, Moyo.
Yes.
Moyo from Oyo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes. You see, the mistake that I made, and what I see a lot of younger people make it, younger women make it, is that they struggle to get married. They don't struggle to stay married. It's not just about the getting married. After that stage, another life starts again. So that's the core of the issue. The man knows who he actually wants to get married. So he likes the whole of my issue. If he wants to marry you, he will marry you. If he's about what he wants and what is attracted. So just be you. The man that is your sex, the man that is like-minded with you, that reasons like you. Instead of wearing an actor character that you are not, you're not going to attract somebody that is not your type, and then that goes to his back.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Muya.
What Miriam said there is extremely important in the kindness. I loved courtesy. I love brilliance. I love respect. And respect is that you will not ask me to do something that will kill me. I'm telling you this thing, please. You're saying, if you don't love me, if you love me, you have to go, well, auntie, uncle, you don't respect me. If I say I don't want to do, if you respect me, you leave me alone. So a lot of times, I had a cousin. We all knew this was the man for her. And the only reason she did not marry him is that, I just don't like him. It's not my spec. This was a man who practically worships the floor she walks on. Respects her, respects family, and all of us were just saying, Lord, at least she would just be cared, pampered, loved. But the person she chose, is the way she chose her own. So now,
I was those spec issues. The guy was this high. Okay. Talking about, I like you, like it. You like who?
You even get close.
He was,
but it's not a problem.
But he has a good.
He was everything, but the height is the problem. I just did not. I wasn't feeling the height.
When you're younger, some of these things are important. When you're older, you look beyond this.
Maybe. But then, I said, bros, you're looking at the wrong person.
It's okay to have respect.
Let me take this call, then I'll come back to talk by. I don't know. I lost the name. Hello, good morning. Are you there? Moturai, are you there? Oh, I'm so sorry, I lost that call. Go ahead.
So let's take
let's take you on YouTube. Please pause. Let's take YouTube.
Kofo Allah Davis said, ladies, don't go into any senseless relationship that is not leading anywhere. Just have friends, and when you are ready to marry, then you make a choice and move on. Someone is accusing all of us that we not tired before. That's Thomas. And we are forming saints here. Well, that's your story, not ours. Andrew says, why would you commit suicide because of a man? He doesn't understand that. PJ Comedian says, I beg, this red flag thing in relationship is either ways. Yes. You see the red flag for man, now so it did for woman too. Many people don't ask key questions while dating, and it's very futuristically dangerous. Ola Juwon says, from experience, good men with good intentions and who declare their intention to marry right from the point of meeting often suffer because most ladies want to beat around the bush. Case of my cousin.
So I want to say that many of us don't prepare for marriage, and nobody prepares us for marriage, but we prepare for every other thing in life. There are books about marriage. Of course, when you get married, you still discover a whole lot more about life. But I think in the minimum, those few books about marriage, let young people take out time to read it. Read it when you're 18, read it when you're 19. You might not be ready to get married, but pick a book on marriage and read it. It gives you perspective. It gives you the list of insights, the list of values you should look out for. And it's very important. Another thing is, not all of us will discover ourselves before marriage. It helps when you know a bit, that self-awareness before you get married. It helps a whole lot. Of course, things will happen in marriage that might still shock you. You might change in marriage. It happens to all of us. Another very valid point is, if somebody wants to pretend for you, you can date that person for 5 years and you still don't know the person. If that person intends to pretend.
If I even be married to a person.
And you can be married to a pretender and you will not know for a long time. So there is a part of spiritual, trust me, we go pray. This matter, we go pray. God will open the matter to me.
Let me take Shokwe and I'll come back to that. Shokwe from Shomolu, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, just so I actually don't have any strong opinion about how long to date or, but I just want to share my own experience.
Please.
So growing up, I had a few, as I dated a few people, and I knew that it was not leading us anywhere, honestly. because maybe secondary school, 200 level. So I need to know business anyway. At the time, I became very serious with my career, as in my spiritual career. So I was just soaked into it, and I was not dating anyone until I knew that I was ready for marriage. And after that time, honestly, I was just looking for a man that was ready. I was not ready to go for any long courtship because I was already 28, already working in a bank, a chartered accountant. I thought I was ready. So I think these are the things that would make one not go into unnecessarily long relationships. When you go into one after the time you're ready, and you're also looking for somebody who is ready. So now, taking from what Temitope said earlier, that, the person I married was actually like, I was recommended to the person. So by somebody that knew me, a friend that went to school together, that said, come, I have a wife for you. So we did not even need to date for so long. And he also had told me about his friend that he knew that would be, would make a good husband and wife. So we dated, we met the last Saturday of February of that year, and we got married in November of the same year. And to the glory of God, will be 20 years this November. Wow. And
oh, we lost that, but I think that's a beautiful story. Yeah. So she corroborates what I used to say in the past, where you have, I think, when you're ready for marriage, you're ready. Marriage should be for mature people. Yes. So it's not like 21. I mean, it doesn't mean I cannot be mature at 21, but for me, I feel that at 28, 29, you are ready. You're a chartered accountant. You got a job. He knows you got a job, and you're well situated. Then you can answer.
At 22, I had a job. I had a makeup studio. I was earning money, and I was ready.
You hadn't seen life.
So but I was ready.
Because you're raised right. But some people at 21, they haven't seen life. So anything can throw things at you and can destabilize you.
Some people, what they have in front of them is marriage.
Yes.
Some people were raised like that.
Raised for marriage.
Not
everybody was raised like that.
Mount Rushmore says, Nima, stop talking about divorce or anticipating it. If you think you're ready until it happens to you. I know this is a difficult conversation. Thankfully, this is a conversation that I put in my head at 16. Yes. Thankfully, you know why I say that? I witnessed 2, and I saw 1 result in death of domestic violence in marriage. And I wondered that with my faith that did not allow me dating, I will not even know the person. How do I find out if the person will beat me before I marry?
Exactly.
So I opened the door for myself. And I don't think it's a difficult door. It is the breaking table point. If you do it, I just leave you. Because I cannot deal with how you will now mature out of it. I can't be a test ground. And if women, women who have put themselves there, who have put divorce as a difficult thing, it's how you see things that they are to you. They have made it so difficult. Recently I was saying to my husband in a conversation that, if I just divorce you now, I'll take it. You say, me too, because this is a conversation regular. Me too, I will give you children, and maintenance is normal. We've had this conversation over and over. This is something I push in my husband's face so many times because of the kind of way I married. And so he just got to that point and said, even me, I won't put my children through back and forth. We'll just settle at a home and, So these are difficult conversations.
Yeah. It's a very tough one.
Your realities are different. I didn't have the pleasure of testing anybody. So the person I married, I kept saying, these are my options.
Yes.
These are my options, and I'm going to take them if I cannot deal anymore. So now when we face problems, because you know that option, you will sit with me and we'll deal with the problem. You will not leave the problem that I should be dealing with it.
Yeah, right, gotcha.
Talking about difficult conversations, we have the caller that said that, there's some questions you should ask in the beginning. And one thing that I learned, although I learned it while in marriage, and I think it's important, is the financial question. And this is something that a lot of people are being advised to ask. You need to find out from the person that you're looking to be married to what their financial situation is, which is, do they have a job? Are they earning money? Do they have debt? Are they planning on
paying, you know, and what financial plan do they, payment plan do they have towards paying that debt? That's the conversation that's important, because whether we like it or not, we know we're married. Money plays a vital role in how sweet a marriage goes. And sometimes it's not really about having so much of it, but it's the management and mismanagement of it that affects the union. So it's important you understand that part of that conversation. I never had that. I was never advised that, but I think it's a good conversation.
So, yeah, very important conversation to have. And there are many tough conversations. Nima mentioned one. Discuss the option of divorce. Discuss that this is an option I have, because sometimes both of you don't discuss it. You assume, and I want to always focus on the positive thing.
Divorce is an option.
Divorce is not
cost the life.
Divorce is not an option, except my life is at risk. Yes. And my life is at risk is both physical and emotional. Yes. Because what does not kill me physically can be killing me emotionally. Yes. So we should have that conversation, so you know that I cannot take this. There are things I cannot take. It's not a regular conversation. Like when the man says, I put it in the front, I would not put it in the front, but it's a conversation that we should have. Money is a conversation that we should have. Yes. If you didn't have money conversation before marriage, have it in the marriage. Another conversation we should have is death. What would happen if any one of us dies?
Yes, that's another conversation.
It's a conversation you should have before marriage if you're not married. And if you're married, you must have it. I had to have that conversation this year. I had a conversation this year with my husband that I've had life insurance for a long time. But I told my husband, he needs to get a life insurance. If anything happens to me, you will collect money. That's the truth, because I've already made that preparation. Oga, you too, start paying towards a life insurance for the family. You know, so that we are covered if anything happens. Number one. Number two, write a will. What would happen if anything happens? Your family will come. Do you have a will? We're not children anymore. It's not that we will be discussing it every day. It's our breakfast conversation, but we have it and put it aside.
Marriage is now for mature people, because only mature people can have this kind of conversation.
I'll come to you, Nima. Let me take Julie. Just be holding. Julie, are you there? Hello, Julie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're live. Good morning. Go ahead, please.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
I've been trying to call several times, but I've always been a challenge.
Okay, good.
The topic this morning I just want to contribute about is that things like this, sometimes relationships that take for long are not usually good. Relationships that are also on a short term are also not good. An example is this. Somebody got married, she met somebody around October last year, and by December they were already married, December 26th. And before we knew it, when they traveled, because the guy is not in Nigeria, just a neighboring country, do you know that marriage ended just 2 weeks after the marriage, because she got to know that the person was not even the person he was portraying himself to be. An example of myself, I met my husband through somebody. I heard somebody was saying she met her somebody through somebody. Somebody just told my husband that I will give you one, and that was all. So we became friends online. 3 months after we met, we dated for like a year, and then when I saw some flags, I called him. I said, nobody forced you into this, and because of that, you can go if you want to, so that you can also free me. So he left and I left. 5 months later, my husband started worrying and worrying and worrying. When he came back, he just proposed.
So they ended up getting married, I'm guessing.
We always hear, like I said, there's no universal rule, but then wisdom is universal. So let us apply all the wisdom. And at this conversation that I'm having now, I didn't have it before marriage. Yes. I did not have the conversation. I discussed money before marriage because I had, we all come with that baggage of, different people come with baggage of, oh, your money is your money, you separate your money. Don't let your husband know how much you're earning. Always have a reserve that does not know about. So but I went through marriage counseling, and I was rejigged into make it very open. Don't let your parents give you baggages into your marriage. Don't bring your parents' experiences into your marriage. Give each other the opportunity to discover if it works or if it doesn't work. And so in that marriage, we have evolved our finances, but I decided not to take that advice as I was given. So, but even if you don't discuss it before you got married, maybe you were not mature enough, at this point in your life, find a way. Maybe you play this video. Maybe you play your view for your husband or your wife, so you can have that conversation.
I wanted to talk about the phobia around wills. So a friend was talking to her husband and said, okay, do you have a will? Don't you think it's about time? Because years of business together. They have a family business. And he was like, hey, I've always known you wanted to kill me.
Yes, so that's conversation that
you know, let's normalize these conversations. For women Muslimas, I say it wherever I speak, that we don't have the luxury of dating, having sexual exploitations before we marry. Auntie, find your options and take them. One option is you go to counseling. You know how life counseling, marriage counseling is, how difficult it is for women. Women are always in that counseling alone. When it's a couple conversation, it's your spouse and you, two of you building your family goals, and it looks strange. And somebody will say, why did you do? You put that, and you put another option. If we have a problem that is plaguing both of us in this marriage, whether it's my attitude or your attitude problem or our behaviors, and it's affecting me mentally, I can't cope, I can't deal, we have to go for life counseling. If you say no for the marriage counseling, can I please go? Can I take a break? Can we deal?
Something else.
And this is not conversation that you rub in the person's face, because I don't want that impression that I rub it in. These are conversations that you use to solve problems. Marriage is about, and it's a business that all parties must be hands on, all hands must be on deck to work at. Nobody will be breaking it in one corner.
This quick question: a man with 4 wives, how does he do marriage counseling?
With the partner.
With 4 wives?
With the partner who has a problem.
What if it's...
See, this is how it works. So the first wife, most times, are the large-chested, can accommodate anything wives. They take everything. And then one small wife comes, maybe she was, for most arranged marriages, she didn't even have the luxury to say whether she would want to have the other wives, or how she would respect them, or those realities. And you are making this demand. You take the girl and yourself to a marriage counselor of your faith bias, who helps you people walk through life, and then you have things defined. When you have emotions and realities and problems defined, you know how to face them. Unlike you just expect the person to float, throw the person in the water. If you like swim, if you like swim.
Let me address what you said earlier, because it's important that we clarify. Because you said something about that you don't have the luxury of dating. But it's important to let people know that some of us that had the luxury, it wasn't as if we had sexual intercourse. No. There was no sexual intercourse. I had fun dating, but I was very clear to preserve myself till marriage, and that's exactly what I did. So, because I said I'm dating doesn't mean that we're all sleeping around.
Already made that clarity.
I
was reading some of our comments, people finding it difficult, and I'm not going to come here and explain my chastity to anybody. It's only for my husband. But the reality is that for most of those women in that space, that you now find sexual compatibility a difficult conversation to have. I was just lucky. Sexual compatibility was something that was of my husband's exposure, and he would worry, how do you ask. And these were conversations that are normal in my own marriage. It's not normal in most marriages that I have to counsel. They'll say, why is she even asking? Who did she test? Or who is her friends? You start breaking the woman's friends, because she's not just feeling the way the sex is in that marriage, and she's trying to express that it's pain for me. Also, this and that for me.
Also, not all referrals work. Some referrals are great. Let's also be careful. Let's assume, because let's be careful.
Still do your own.
And it's okay, normal to discuss.
So we have to wrap up. So our final words on what Mr. Okonkwo said, which is that do we need to? Does a man know when he meets you that it's time to settle down? And if he does, how best can a woman make best use of that?
I've shared so many things.
I've shared a lot of things. But just as he knows, you know.
Exactly.
Don't waste your time.
Yes, I agree with that. So don't wait for because the way it's couched is the man knows that he's
choosing again.
Yes, you too. You should know when you meet someone that this is the person you can end up with. It's a choosing game. I choose you, you choose me.
Right. I'll go with praying. Honestly, I would go with praying, because for me, based on my faith, everything has to be filtered through the lens of prayer and God guiding me, because I cannot make a wrong decision with that marriage. So after we do all the investigation, then we start with prayer, and then we end it with prayer.
There's even a part of my own faith that says, don't let the emotions come in. That's why you tick. Don't let the emotions come in before you start praying, because it will cloud whatever you're asking.
One of the things that helped me is to ensure that I didn't have sexual intercourse, because that sometimes beclouds your judgment. Once your emotions are into it, it's difficult for you to remove yourself. That's why in 3 months, I'm done. My mother let's move on. Meaning we've broken up because it was easy for him to go.
Most men will break up within 3 months anyway.
Trust me, a lot of them. I was changing them like newspaper because we're not doing anything. They of course, they got tired and frustrated. So don't get in the emotional time because that stops you and beclouds your judgment. I could see through because I knew that I wasn't there. I'll tell you from day one. Yeah, I'm not doing, yeah, okay.
I thought they would think they can still convince you.
They can still, yes, until you're convinced. They move on. So please enjoy,
scheme their ways.
Enjoy the time you have as a young person. I would say enjoy this period. Date, have fun, but they can also use stopwatch system of be friends and then finally choose. But either way, pray. Either way, pray. Because me, I prayed. I had a list. In fact, I was very descriptive. I wanted. The only thing God did not answer my list is first. I wanted a dark skinned guy. God got a fair skin. Every other thing,
I was still praying for a breakup in case it will not work in future.
Everything on my list, every single thing, God answered it. I wanted somebody from OAU who was very specific. I wanted someone that had a nuclear family. I wanted someone that was a lawyer. It was too specific. I wrote it on the note. I had a prayer book. I was using a scripture. For per line, I was using a scripture to pray. So I was skabashing. Don't even leave it. The skabashing part, it was skabashing. But please, as you're skabashing, don't be sinning on the side. It won't work. Have a lovely weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Nice way to close it.
I like it.
Don't sin on the side of prayer.
Yes, don't be sinning.
I was